Normally I would have waited until there were like 100 concurrents, but I screwed up the first stream and then had to start up a new stream. I left it in 4K, which is what I do most of my recordings. I have my recordings, I upscale it to 4K, and if I leave that on, it kind of messes everything up. But hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me today. Today we're going to be going through what was relatively slow in terms of news for the last week. It was not incredibly robust in terms of news reports. So there's a few things across the board, not just for Xbox, but there was PlayStation news. There were some Ubisoft interviews that happened, and I figured I would just sort of go through each. The first one, I got a reminder from Game Pass Tracker that, hey, the Xbox store is closing in less than a month. And this is one of two very important services ending from the Xbox brand that I figured I would remind people of. And yeah. Yo, Destin, I watched your Killer Instinct video reacting to Paris and Kind of Funny Live. Made me download it. Yeah, so Killer Instinct is a great game. I love it. But just a reminder, but price reductions available now on the digital Xbox 360 store, closing July 29, 2024. I don't know about you, but I am very frugal when it comes to my spending on games. One of the reasons that this is so important is because when they close down stores, they will often give massive discounts to their games. So on my Wii U, for example, I have every game that I could possibly ever want. It's all downloaded and saved on the Wii U, so I have access to all of those games. Like all the 2D Zeldas were like $1. So I spent like $50-$60, but I got tons of games for it. And I imagine on the Xbox 360, if there's anything you want to get digitally and just lock it on your hard drive, now would be a good time to do that. One of the things that are happening is that they're doing price reductions on the digital Xbox 360 store, and we're going to get to the Forza Horizon story in just a second. We are aware that a few games are still not showing the correct price or are not showing on the store. We're continuing to investigate. We will follow up when we have more information to share. Currently affected titles: Just Dance Kids 2014, Voodoo Dice, Frogger Hyper Arcade Edition, Need for Speed Undercover, Burnout 3 Takedown. That's a really good one. Burnout 3 Takedown's great. Hopefully they fix the price issue. Lego Harry Potter for Connect, and Fight Night Round 3. Fight Night Round 3 was one of like the first boxing games that I ever got. That's a good one. Here's what they say about the 360 store shutdown. And obviously reading this makes me feel incredibly old because they point out that it launched 18 years ago. That is as old as a person. So if a kid was born the same year the 360 launched, that kid would be going to college right now, as an example, or at least maybe leaving the house to go work as an apprentice or something like that, right? That is crazy to think about. Wow. Xbox 360 launched 18 years ago and was a generation-defining console that invited many people to jump into gaming for the first time and connect with friends around the world. We're thrilled people continue playing their favorite Xbox 360 games on Xbox 360 or on newer consoles via backwards compatibility for supported titles. One of the great things about the Series X still having that disk drive, you know, while people still make those old school disk drive things, is that I can pop in that 360 version of Metal Gear that I still have, that I got a copy of specifically because it remains to this day the best version of Metal Gear Solid 3 and Metal Gear Solid 2 that you can play, just because of the way it handled upscaling and such. So I am very happy that I still have that. We're going to talk about Metal Gear a little bit later on. But backwards compatibility is great. This is all about the store, though. They're reminding us, as we shared late August, we have a change coming to the Xbox 360 experience starting on July 29th, 2024. Xbox will stop supporting the ability to purchase new games, DLC, and other entertainment content from the Xbox 360 store on the console and the Xbox 360 marketplace. To celebrate the legacy of Xbox 360, we're working with our amazing publishing partners to bring you as many price reductions from our online store or from the Xbox 360 store on the console. We'll be updating this list with more games on June 18, 2024, and on July 16, 2024, bringing you as many repriced games as possible before the end of July. These price reductions will remain in place for each game through the 360 store closing on July 29, 2024. It's important to know that this change will not affect your ability to play Xbox 360 games or DLC you have already purchased. Xbox 360 game content previously purchased will still be available to play. If you have more questions or need help troubleshooting any issues, please visit our support page, obviously. So hopefully they have, like, look at some of these discounts. 90%. We're the 90 percenters. Dead Island is 95% off. So that means like Dead Island's like what, $1? Do they have the price listing on the website? Let's find out here. So like Dead Island, the hat is $1. How much for the game though? Oh man, they did a bunch of add-ons for this game for your character. Here, games. So Dead Island on the 360 is, this was a good game when it came out. It's 74 cents. You can get Dead Island for 74 cents. How? What? Okay, look, like Steam has some pretty good Steam sales. I don't think I've ever seen a game for 74 cents before. That's absolutely crazy. What else is 95% off? They got Dead Island Riptide, Homefront I remember Homefront being good, right? I don't remember. Was Homefront popular? Red Faction Guerrilla. We just talked about Red Faction on Unlock. The Evil Within is 95% off. Metro's on that list if you're a Metro fan. Bionic Commando's in the 90% off. Black is 90% off. Burnout 3 How much is Burnout 3 Takedown? Oh, okay. They said that this is 90% off, but the price is not reflecting. So this is like another what? $1 video game. I'm having trouble using PayPal to pay at the Xbox 360 store. Works on my Series X though. Oh, I hope you figure it out, Parallax. That is a bummer. That's crazy. So this is one of the prices that actually aren't accurate, but it's everything's 90% off. Yeah. So Evil Within is $2.99. Red Faction Guerrilla is 99 cents. These are insane deals. So like I came into the Homefront's 49 cents. What are we talking about here? Okay. Like no joke. I came into this video and I'm like, okay, yeah, they're going to do like the Steam sale discount. All the games will be like $5 or whatever. I did not expect the games to be, basically free. That's pretty nuts. Yeah. Burnout Crash was the 2D game. That one's 49 cents. That's crazy. What else we got here? Now I'm just shopping. Oh, Devil May Cry HD collection and Devil May Cry 4. Check this out. Devil May Cry 4 is $1.99 and the HD collection is $1.99. And a lot of these are backwards compatible, I believe. Don't quote me on that. But at the very least, you would have them on your 360. Yeah, they're basically giving away all these video games. I do not see Dark Souls. I saw Resident Evil 0, Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 5, Resident Evil 6, the original versions. Those are all 90% off. Wow. I know this probably seems like a little bit advertising, but I'm genuinely this is a good one. Third Strike, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike is $1.49. And this version was like the really, really good version of Street Fighter 3 when they finally brought it to console. That's crazy. I gotta start writing names on the board. We got the $5 thing going on here. Thank you so much. The eraser does not work very well. This is from last week. Can I borrow $1? These prices are good though, right? And the name went away on the super chat, but thank you so much. Sorry, I just got to look through these for a second. They have Street Fighter Cross Tekken, Street Fighter 2, Brink, Yeah, wow. I'm just gonna link this in chat. If you want to get any of these games, these are insane. These are like less than $1 prices. I did not expect the prices to be this shockingly low for a lot of these games. Oh, they have it in alphabetical order. So do they have any Metal Gear games? No, none of the Metal Gears. Obviously, Konami's probably not going to be like, sure, just give away our Metal Gear games. That was on May 14th. All right, just real quick. Arkham City is 75% off. So all the Arkham games, Batman Arkham Origins, Blackgate Deluxe Edition, 75% off. Some absolutely great titles. The Soldier Boy game. I don't think Soldier Boy is on this list, is he? Yeah, nothing from Metal Gear Solid 5 360 version. I mean, personally, I don't think that's the version you would want to get. You would probably want to get the what would it be? It'd be the Xbox One edition. I just linked to it in chat. So some pretty crazy prices with a few games that are literally less than $1. That's really good. So that's a good PSA. July 29th. I don't know that there's anything that I need. I think I have all of the games that I would want, but wow. That is interesting. Separately, let's talk about the whole Forza Horizon thing and what's going to be going on here, because Forza Horizon was just seeing a surge in popularity on Steam. And that is because you only have 6 months left to buy what Polygon calls the best Forza Horizon game. Forza Horizon 4 is about to be delisted from the market due to licensing issues. So long story short, you don't have a ton of time to grab this game. Forza Horizon 4 was the one that kind of got, well, Forza Horizon's always been popular, but this was the open world style game where you kind of do whatever you want. This was the first one where I kind of dove in just on the sticks and played quite a bit. I remember a lot of fans be like, you got to check out Forza Horizon 4 when I was setting up my Xbox One. So I did, and it was really, really good. Then Forza Horizon 5 kind of perfected it. But this one's getting delisted because there's some issues with cars, and there's just some problems with the game where they lost licensing rights. So they're going to have to take it off the marketplace, unfortunately. Playground Games and Microsoft have announced that Forza Horizon 4 will be delisted on December 15th. From then on, the 2018 open world racing game and its additional content will no longer be available for purchase from the Xbox Store, the Microsoft Store, or Steam, and it'll be removed from Game Pass. It will remain playable for people who own a digital or physical copy, and online features will still be available. Continuing on, here's the official post about it being delisted. Yeah, oh man, they did the festival and stuff like that. Hello, Forza community. We have to share a couple of updates regarding Forza Horizon 4, its availability, and the changes we are bringing to the festival playlist in the future. Let me just zoom in on this so you can actually read what I'm reading. On July 25th, we will have the final series for the game in Series 77, which will include the last festival. That ends on August 22nd. After Series 77 ends on August 22nd, you will no longer be able to access the playlist screen except to see the festival. Oh man, that's such a bummer. This is why live service games eventually have to come to an end. So it's such a bummer to see this just end. Like they're just delisting it. After Series 7 on August 22nd will be the last chance to earn achievements tied with the festival playlist. When's delisted? Yeah. So they mentioned delisted. Delisted. Yeah. It'll be delisted from stores and Xbox Game Pass. This means the game and its additional content. Do they say why? They don't really say why, though. Parallax, that's who it was. In happier news, it seems that Transformers games published by Activision will be relisted on Xbox and Steam. Well, that's good. Where'd you hear that? I didn't see that, but that's great. We'll just update you to 10, Parallax. Licensing. Do they say licensing? I mean, obviously it's because of licensing, but I was wondering if they actually stated in the official post. They didn't, but it is being removed. It is due to licensing. And here's their FAQ. When is it being delisted? There it is. What DLC will I still be able to play? Yes, you will still be able to enjoy playing the game, including its multiplayer and online functions. Players who already own the game and its content will be able to download and play it as normal, including its offline, online, and multiplayer features. Physical copies of the game purchased after this date will also work and will be able to use online features. I mean, that's good. At least if you actually bought the physical version of the game, that is good to know. Yeah. Here's the actual answer. Why are you delisting the game from digital retailers? Due to agreements with licensing and other partnerships ending. Yeah. So long story short, they're ending it just due to licensing issues. That is such a bummer. Parallax says, just saw Transformers Devastation back on the Xbox Store. Shows unavailable, but they were not even listed a week ago. Well, that's really exciting because War for Cybertron is the one that everybody talks about being remade. So those were the two things that Xbox is going to be removing. Long story short, they're going to be removing Forza Horizon 4. And what's really interesting is Steam. How do you do top charts on Steam? I'm trying to remember. Basically, Steam was selling the game, and it turned out to be one of the top played games for the month or something like that. Oh man, did they change their store? I can't find like new and noteworthy. Is it under new and noteworthy? Popular top sellers. Here we go. So these are the top 100 selling games on Steam right now. Elden Ring, which is on sale, by the way, for $41.99. The Steam Deck is on sale. Destiny 2 doing pretty well. And I had heard rumors that Forza Horizon was on here. I'm not seeing it. Oh, Forza Horizon 5. Forza Horizon 4 is number 90 on the list, beating out Forza Horizon 5 potentially. No. So Forza Horizon 5 is 66, and there is Forza Horizon 4. You can get it right now on Steam for, I think it said $11, $11.99. So if you want the standard edition, because it's going away, you can pick it up on Steam. And it was just seeing a bit of a resurgence. Philoroni, how are the shrimp doing? Sorry, I'm late to the stream. Stream started late, so no big deal. Shrimp are doing okay. I think I need to figure out what's going on with the tank. I don't know if the tank's crashing or whatever, but that would be bad. There's still babies swimming around in there and stuff, but yeah. Continuing on, I've talked a lot about this game called Avowed. A lot of people don't agree with my take, but one of the big stories of the last week was all about how long Avowed will be. And Avowed will be about as long as The Outer Worlds was. Now, The Outer Worlds, I believe, was like 13 to 15 hours. And honestly, here's my super hot take. I think that's totally fine. I think that's actually a really good length for Avowed. They've said many times that they're focused on storytelling. They're focused on crafting the world that they want to showcase for everybody. And Outer Worlds, yeah, it can be 13 to, 15 hours on the shorter end, but you could go like 40 and up if you decide to no-life that game and do every little thing it has to offer. So Avowed is looking to offer about the same thing. So you can finish Avowed in an evening or 3 and move about your way, or you could really dive in. I think that's fine. I'm still, as I've said publicly, on the fence about it. Here's what Insider Gaming wrote about it. Avowed, an upcoming open-world RPG game developed by Obsidian Entertainment, promises an immersive gaming experience. During the Xbox Game Showcase earlier this month, players were treated to a new gameplay trailer that showcased intense combat sequences, a vast and diverse map, and a rich fantasy world. Now, Avowed's game directors have also informed us about the game length, and it is similar to their previous project, The Outer Worlds. So, yeah. Well, a lot of people, Mighty Guy Bush says, why is that a hot take? A lot of people seem to feel that games need to be long, especially RPGs. And for me, I kind of just want to move on. Like, I'm not that hyped for Avowed. So personally for me, I'm glad I can just play it and then discuss it afterwards and be like, oh, I was wrong. This game actually turned out to be great. And here's the reasons I loved it. Or yeah, it was about what I expected. It was sort of, it was like, okay. And that's not what I had hoped for, but I'm glad it's shorter because I think more people have a chance to step into it and enjoy that world. And I actually do find the general time frame of about 13 hours to be a fair amount of time for your game time for the base campaign. So if you just want to do the main campaign, 13 hours feels like a pretty good sweet spot for length. But if you want to play like every little thing in God of War Ragnarok, for example, then obviously you're going to spend a lot more time on it. How long is God of War Ragnarok? Just to compare, because I love Ragnarok and I'm curious. So that one's 26.5 to 60 hours. So I think the sweet spot in terms of game length, like just doing the main campaign stuff, I think right around the 20-hour mark, give or take a little bit. I think that's pretty good. So Avowed on the lower end, obviously closer to 13 hours is what most people are guessing based on the Outer Worlds comparison. But yeah, God of War Ragnarok's 26.5 to 60 hours. 60 hours obviously being on the upper end, but that was one of the stories. This one was sort of cool. We actually got a peek. And like I said, it's a bit of a slower news week. So I'm just kind of going through everything one at a time. And in the last video, I made it on, what was it? On Saturday, for Saturday. I basically said, everybody's up to something because there's all these like little tiny news stories. And we're going to go through them again today. But none of them are like their own piece of content. So I hadn't like made a lot of videos. Mild says, what is... Well, thank you, Mild, for the comment. I'm glad you like my black shirt. Continuing on, defunct Xbox cloud console Keystone shows up in a patent filing. So this was really, really cool. And they actually link out to the patent so you can see it. You can see what this thing was going to look like. So basically, to me, that looks like an Xbox Series S, but probably smaller in scale because internal components were basically a board and a fan. And then you would have an HDMI out, a power, and an Ethernet port so that you could play this thing. And the imagery, obviously, yeah, it was a big old square. And Phil Spencer had one on his desk, so we know this thing was tiny. I'm guessing, I'm just guesstimating, but I think it was about that big maybe. And that's about how big it was supposed to be when you got it. Outer Worlds, I played like an hour or two of Outer Worlds. I didn't play a ton of it, but I do remember the writing being fun. But once I actually got into like the loop, the gameplay loop, I was like, like I'm just not invested enough in this world to continue on from here. So I just kind of bounced. But yeah, so the Keystone showed up in this patent filing, and Phil Spencer said they pivoted away from it for... It just didn't work out for whatever reason. And he even teased it on his shelf. But yeah, they pivoted away from it. And if you were curious what it looked like, well, it looked a lot like what we have today, but a lot more square. I do wonder, now that they are going a little bit harder with everything, I do wonder if they are curious about bringing an idea like this back. Maybe the Amazon deal was like being inked when they decided to access, because they have Samsung, they have Amazon, and they're just like, yeah, you know what? These Fire Sticks are working out a lot better than we had originally thought. This is a little bit of an interesting aside. iPhone ports of AAA games have reportedly bombed. I do wonder, like, how do you make that determination? Because they're porting the game. I guess they have to sell a certain amount of titles to rationalize the sale. According to recent reports, the iPhone ports for Death Stranding, Resident Evil 4 Remake, Resident Evil Village, and Assassin's Creed Mirage have bombed with strikingly low sales, failing to meet expectations. While the iPhone has seen a number of impressive sales via indie games and microtransactions and free-to-play games, it seems the AAA market currently remains unprofitable on mobile. Here's the thing about mobile games. There's a lot of cynicism and such around it. Maybe the answer isn't porting games to mobile. It's about starting on mobile and building them there from the ground up. And that does make me curious if they're going to shift in terms of strategy. So I do wonder if these have sold so poorly. Like, according to estimates in the report, only 3,000 people have purchased Assassin's Creed Mirage, 7,000 people have bought Resident Evil 4 Remake, 5,750 have snagged Resident Evil Village and Death Stranding. Despite faring the best, has seen only around 10,000 downloads. Apparently Death Stranding, 10K. That's not bad, but wow. Those numbers are a lot lower than I would imagine just for the install base alone. I think the tech on the phone isn't quite there to run those games, but Call of Duty Mobile makes them a lot of money, and Call of Duty Mobile plays really well. Like, it feels really well, but it does look closer to the 360 era, maybe even early Xbox One games in terms of graphics versus Resident Evil 4, which is sort of trying to push that envelope. And it like, do any of those games play or feel particularly great on mobile? I would obviously think not. So maybe that's not the strategy, but they even say that other games are doing well, but this porting stuff backwards strategy is not. So that's sort of interesting. And I sort of alluded to it earlier as we continue going through the news of the day. We're tearing through these stories, and this is what I was talking about, how there's not like a big one. We're going to take a different source on this one. So this is Xbox comes to Amazon Fire TV, play popular games without a console. Long story short, you can get a Fire Stick HD and you are able to start playing your video games right away. Play top titles like Starfield, Fallout 4, and Forza Horizon 5 on your Fire TV. No console required. For games looking for a convenient and affordable way to play their favorite Xbox titles, a new collaboration between Xbox and Amazon has you covered. In July, Xbox Game Pass Ultimate members can access and play hundreds of cloud-enabled games directly through the Xbox app on select Fire TV devices. No console required. Now, to me, this is Xbox saying, so there's something like 200 million Amazon Fire TV sticks out there in the wild. And I would guess all of those have the ability to at least see the Xbox app. Now, granted, you would have to upgrade your Fire TV stick to be able to play the game. It's hard to separate who has the Fire TV Stick HD versus the standard, but let's continue on reading. It's great that Xbox has expanded their sell-through base to these potential new customers. This integration brings the vast Xbox Game Pass Ultimate library to your TV with just a compatible Fire TV stick and Bluetooth-enabled controller, making gaming more available. From epic RPGs like Starfield and Fallout 4 to high-octane racers like Forza Horizon 5, not 4, because that one's getting delisted, you can experience console-quality gaming through cloud gaming. Sorry, I forgot to bring up the story. There's what I just read. One thought on that. I think that cloud gaming has come a long way across the board for both PlayStation and Xbox. And I do think if they figure out the latency issues that this service has, this could be like the future of gaming. This could be what we're headed towards, as opposed to having physical devices for so long. Things are just getting smaller and smaller because technology is getting more and more advanced to the point that we can stream video games on our television. Granted, the experience for everybody hasn't been completely stellar. It is a potential avenue for delivering game content to people at a much, much lower barrier to entry. Yeah, they're laying the foundation, somebody said in chat, and I do kind of agree with that. Phil Aroni says, I'm kind of surprised it was Amazon first and not Roku. Wonder how you can connect the controller and such to it. Well, you would probably just go to Bluetooth pairing, and then you press the pairing button, and they just find each other. It's the same way you would broadcast your phone to your television. It's all the same Bluetooth technology, I believe. So it's just like pairing anything else. It's very simple to do. You just hold down the pairing button, and then you say, pair that to my Fire Stick, and then you're good to go. I did it with the I've talked about it before, but that Samsung TV behind me on the floor, it's exactly the same. It's the same as any other device. You just pair it and you're done. Here's what they say. Getting started is simple. Grab a Fire TV Stick 4K Max 2023 or a Fire TV Stick 4K 2023. So 2023 and up, basically you get one of the Fire TV sticks that are 4K and you're going to be ready to go. These affordable streaming media players start at just $49.99, making cloud gaming more available than ever before. Besides obviously gaming now, what the heck is Fire TV? Does anybody actually have a Fire TV currently? Is it just Amazon stuff that you can watch on your television? You just plug it into your HDMI and then it sends you the info from Amazon. I assume it's their proprietary service and then some other apps that you can play on your Fire TV stick, isn't it? It's Prime with apps. You have 4 Fire devices. So Ventura, maybe you could tell us more about like, how does it work? So it has it's basically like an Xbox. It's just whatever apps you want to get or Apple TV. Okay. Yeah. So it's like any other device where apps get approval to be posted on there. Apparently Netflix is on there. Amazon's on there. And now Xbox is on there, and you just kind of do whatever you want. You can unlock it. Apparently. I don't know if that involves some sort of hackery, but maybe you got to do a little tweaking and you can just do whatever you want with it. But to me, this seems pretty cool. Just being able to buy a stick and go is great. Then they say, yeah, next download the Xbox app on your Fire TV device via the Amazon App Store. Once you install and open the app, you'll be prompted to sign in with your Microsoft account. If you're already an Xbox Game Pass Ultimate member, you'll have instant access to stream and play any of the hundreds of cloud-enabled titles in the Game Pass Ultimate library. Not a member yet? You can sign up for Xbox Game Pass Ultimate through the app for one low monthly price. For access to Fortnite, there's even the option to try for free, no membership required. So all those free-to-play games, you can just play them, I guess. That's great. And you can even use the DualSense. You can use whatever you want. So I think that's really, really good. I'm going to put a poll. I forgot we can do YouTube polls, but is the Amazon Fire deal a big deal for Xbox? I would say yes. Let me see here. Add poll. I don't know how to do anything on YouTube. How do I add a poll? Where is it? Add emotes. Oh, right here. Start a poll. Is the Xbox Amazon deal a W? Yes, no. Let me know what you say. So I'm going to put in a poll up. Is the Xbox Amazon deal a W for Xbox? That's over on youtube.com/the Destin channel. I almost said IGN. I'm not on IGN at the moment. Almost 100% yes. Like 95% of people are just saying, yeah, it's huge. It's a huge deal for Microsoft to score this. I don't think there's any way, like if PlayStation did this thing, it would be a W. I want to try it out. I kind of want to try it out. Xbox is way better than Xbox and Sony streaming, says Stuart. Yeah. Nvidia is way better than Xbox and Sony streaming, says Stuart. I do agree with that. I believe it's Nvidia Shield. I've tried it out. It's very good. These streaming services have very low latency and have been very, very interesting to say the least. I don't know if they've caught on yet, but when I'm in Germany and I need to like go to Zur to buy the thing for the weekend, that's pretty good. Good to see you, Harry, over on Twitch. I do appreciate it. Appreciate you watching. Let's continue on here. Pax says, achievement unlocked. Our 20th anniversary Storytime speaker's career spans 30 plus years in gaming, tech, and entertainment. And you've seen him around talking about games like Minecraft, Halo, Starfield, World of Warcraft, Call of Duty, and more. Phil Spencer, CEO of Microsoft Gaming, will be joining us on Friday, August 30th at PAX West 2024 in Seattle, Washington. Badges are available now at paxwest24.com/badges. See you there. So this is he's going to be their storytime speaker. And I think that's sort of like their opening thing. I actually don't really know. I think that this is a tease that Phil Spencer has maybe something a little bit more exciting than just whatever they've teased for Gamescom. And I hope that's the case. Pardon me. So the only thing about this is I bet he's jet lagged when he does it. He's probably going to be tired because he's going to be flying from Germany, and it's not, I think it's like not even a week after the big Gamescom event, and they're having their biggest booth ever at Gamescom. We covered off on that last week. So how is he going to bounce back from that? Just drink a few Red Bulls, I guess. He will definitely be jet lagged during the story time. I don't think he'll fall asleep, but that had a lot of people talking. Oh, this is interesting. So Noble, giving Noble a little bit of props here. He sort of collects all of these news stories, and Noble, Noble said Sony is cutting around 250 jobs from its recordable media business key manufacturing hub in northeastern Japan. The planned job cuts come amid a decline in demand for traditional storage formats such as Blu-ray discs, with streaming services now the norm. Very interesting to see that is just going to be the route that we're going. This is from the Mainichi. I have no idea what this is, but I remembered seeing this on Twitter. And they're saying Sony Group Corp will cut 250 jobs from its recordable media business key manufacturing hub in northeastern Japan and offer early retirement packages to employees, sources close to the matter said. The planned job cuts come amid a decline in demand for traditional storage formats such as Blu-ray discs, with streaming services now the norm. You can tell me about how much you love physical media and how bad it is that we're getting rid of physical media. Heck, I might even agree with you on a lot of those topics. But the reality is 90% of sales are digital. So the requirement for manufacturing disc has shrunk to the point where distribution, manufacturing, getting it on store shelves is less necessary to turn a profit than it was before. And to talk about this for just a second, we're going to turn on over to Pirate Software, who talks about game prices and how you always see people talk about, Secret of Mana was $69.99 back in the day. Why hasn't game inflation hit everything else? Well, let's go listen to Pirate Software really quick. I think I have this set up and hear what he had to say about the whole situation, because I thought it was quite insightful.
What do you think of $100 plus games? So there's a couple of things that are really interesting about this. Back in the day, a Super Nintendo game was $69.95. That's how much Secret of Mana cost when it first came out.
Everybody uses this as ammunition to talk about games have to be $100 now because back in the day they were $69.95. But the world has changed, and he's going to break it down. Like, this guy makes video games. So he's just saying, like, most games are sold digitally now. So you have less cost to distribute. It's a narrative. The narrative that, like, we have to pay more it's just one that people just aren't going to go for.
Let's go pull this up. Inflation calculator. And what year did Secret of Mana launch? August 6, 1993. And we're going to go from August 1993, and we'll go to April of 2024. And we're going to say $69.95. If you were to buy that Super Nintendo game today, in today's currency, it'd be $151.47. That would be the cost. Dramatically higher, right?
And obviously, so that's where the argument stops for most people. They're like, slam dunk, mic drop. Why I love this video, why I'm sharing this video with you today, is because this guy makes games, and he lays out why that is just a narrative that gets perpetuated that makes consumers pay more money. And we get less We get less now than we did before, and they're paying less for the entire process of getting games to us. Like, you need to make another disc. You're not really making another disc. You're just adding another code on Steam, which costs you nothing. Steam takes their 30%. His dad made World of Warcraft. So like, yeah.
The reason they were so expensive back then is because of physical distribution. That's the reason. We don't have that anymore. You don't have to make a cartridge. You don't have to put it on a store shelf. You don't have to physically ship it. You don't have to do any of that. We have digital distribution. It costs nothing. I have sold tens of thousands of copies of Heartbound, and it has cost us nothing. So when we're looking at this versus that, it doesn't make sense. We can't even make a comparison there. Steam still takes 30%.
I greatly appreciate this perspective, because for so long, like, this narrative I see online where people are begging to pay more money for things is insane to me. It's crazy. Please let me pay you more money. Like when Ibarra did that tweet, like, man, I really like that game. I wish I could tip the mega corporation that made it. And he listed a bunch of AAAs owned by Sony and Microsoft and whoever else. It's just like, wow. Sure. Go find somebody who worked on the thing that you liked and send them $20 on PayPal, and say, hey, buy your team some donuts or something. I don't know. Yeah, Pirate Software is really good because he has a unique perspective that nobody else has. And the thing that drives me crazy is I saw people getting all upset about my last stream where I'm just like, hey, look, physical media, it's just not being purchased like it used to. So like, you can be as mad as you want about it. And heck, I might agree with you that I like the days when we got a complete game on the disc. Do you know how often that happens? Between day one patches and all this other nonsense that's going on with gaming right now, where they're trying to get another dollar, get their retention metrics up, get all this stuff. It's really frustrating from a consumer perspective. And all I ever see out there is people begging to spend more money. What? No, it's just not something I'm ever going to get behind. You're not going to convince me that the mega corporations have our best interests at heart. Are you serious? Yeah, you really think the mega corporations care? Come on.
No, they don't. When I make a Steam key, and that key is for a $10 game, and then I sell that on Humble Bundle, what is the percentage that Steam takes from me? 0%. Steam only takes 30% of the sales you have on the Steam platform. Only on the Steam platform. Further than that, if you have trading cards for your game, which you always do, you make those yourself. Very easy. Whenever one of those sells between one player and another, there's a community market fee. Steam gives the developer the community market fee. That ain't 30%. That's a lot less than 30%. Depending on how you strategize your sales, it's dramatically less than 30%. And Steam,
I don't know what the trading cards are. Parallax had a really quick comment here. In the 90s, games were already over $60, even on the SNES, but Sony came in with CDs for the PlayStation with a flat rate of 50. That changed the game because they were competing to get market share, right? And I really appreciate the days when people were fighting to make the best thing they could for you. And I feel like it's tipping a little bit too far in the other direction where they're trying to make the best thing to manipulate you into paying more money. And I don't get why that's a controversial take. I don't think it is for most people. I think most people are like, I want the best deal possible. Period. You want to know what a good deal is? Those 360 deals I started the stream with where games are less than $1. That's a good value.
does not charge you for the distribution of your patches or the game itself outside of that 30% cut. Isn't that literally pennies, though? No, no. Very funny. So the way that I look at this right now is this doesn't make sense. We live in a time of digital distribution, and the way that I see sales of games is like this. If it's $1, people see it as shovelware. If it's $3, they see it as an arcade game. $5 is a premium arcade game. $10 is an indie game. $20 is a premium indie game.
If I sold a game, I would probably sell it for $5 to $10. Like if I ever made a game, I said I was going to someday. Who knows if that's actually ever going to happen? I don't have enough time in my life. But I would probably want to price the first game I ever made in that $5 to $10 range. I think anything below $5 I just think it gets the negative connotation. To his point, I think it gets sort of a negative connotation associated with it. Somebody in chat said Chrono Trigger was the first game I ever pre-ordered, $84.99 plus tax. That sounds like a Canadian price to me. SOT-nist. Are you in Canada? Because I remember I bought Sonic, and I remember it being about that price on the Sega Genesis. I had a paper route. I got Sonic, and I remember it being about that. Anyway, let's continue on.
Anywhere from 10 to 20 is a premium indie game. $40 is a day game. $60 is AAA. And anything 70 or above is a scam. That's the general way that people feel about games.
He's talking about perception, not what it actually is. Obviously, a lot of the AAAs are 70, but yeah, I think genuinely online, this is how people think.
That I've seen so far. Like, this is the limit. Anything
60.
above that, and people hate you, whether they feel it's worth it or not. The problem is this. The ones saying this, unfortunately, don't matter. As awful as that is, because there's multitudes of people that are just buying the games anyway. An insane number of people that don't take any part in online discourse, don't take any part in talking about $70 game, don't take any part in any of this, and just buy the $100+ copies every time. You will find very quickly that the double down versions of games, instead of the $70 version, the $110 version, you'll find that these ones sell more than these ones.
There's a few reasons for that, actually. They bundle they upsell you to the 110 version. By default, like the new seasons of Destiny, the first thing and the easiest thing to find is the $100 version of the game. If you go to the Steam store, it's get the $100 version. Any game that's coming out, the first thing you're going to see, I bet you, is the $100 version of that game. You're going to have to do a little bit of work to find that $60, $70 version of the game. And that's an upsell strategy that they utilize.
Almost every
the deck is stacked against you. Like, you're looking at that 110. Go like Star Wars. They have all the different prices. Like, yeah, sure, you can get like the $60, $70 version, but really you want this $100 version so you get the 3-day early access. But really, we want you to subscribe to our thing because you're going to forget and you're going to leave it on for 10 years.
Every time. And if it is a $70 game, it'll likely have MTX in it that will end up making it sell more than this every time.
And the reason they add those MTX is because game development costs have gotten so insanely out of hand that they're basically required to add microtransactions in any game. First player or single player, multiplayer, whatever, has to have microtransactions in it. Concord, I bet you that's going to be crammed full of microtransaction stuff. The gun skins, the little gem that dangles off of your gun, the paint that you can put on your one hand, and then the paint you can put on your other hand, and the silly hat that you can wear, and you know the face paint that you can put on your character, the Nicki Minaj character that comes out. All those, like, is anybody else tired of this? Like, everybody just buys this stuff, but I just don't. I just don't buy any of it because all those microtransactions just super are not for me. I'm going to forget about this game in like a year or two, right? Like I'm not going to be playing Call of Duty for that long that I'm like, remember when I got the Gorilla Glove and I spent $70 on it? And I think right now people just don't have the dispendable income that they used to. So they're not like chomping at the bit to buy the $12 Destiny emote, right?
The reason that the business model works this way is because people spend money on it. This is normal business for the games industry.
The idea that spending money on a microtransaction is supporting the devs, it's so silly. No, you're not really supporting the devs. Like, the devs in the industry needs to wake up and stop thinking that they need to add microtransactions where they take stuff out of their product so that they can upsell you within their own organic product. Because the $100 that I spent on Destiny, that's not enough. Like, I spent $100 this year and that'll give me access to all the seasons. Codes are provided to me for Destiny coverage. So I don't pay for that because I work in media, right? But the average consumer is spending $100 on Destiny, and you get access to the seasonal content. But I bet you they're also spending $5, $10, $12 here or there on an emote that they like or that skin. And they keep the game alive. But unfortunately, yeah, they're just transactions. They're not microtransactions. If we collectively stopped spending money on MTX, here's what would happen. The entire video game industry would have to reset and find out another way to sell products to us and keep their costs under control. But they don't have to right now because they know that consumers are just going to buy everything like crazy people. You're going to spend $70 on your game, and you're probably going to spend $20 on a bundle of silver or whatever it is in your video game a few times a year. So you're probably spending $200, $250, $300 on your game. And those are just like the average people. Then there's the whales that will drop thousands of dollars, like 1,000 a month in Diablo Immortal. I've heard people bragging about how much money they have spent in Diablo Immortal, the mobile Diablo game. And I'm even talking about today, not when it launched and there was all that controversy. It's out of control. It's absolutely out of control. And I feel like I've had this rant. I've had this rant for like 8 years. Don't spend money on microtransactions. And honestly, I can safely say they poison the well for the rest of us. Anytime you spend money on a microtransaction, you are creating a positive benefit to the people who want to take more stuff out of your games and sell them back to you for $20. It's crazy. For Christmas last year, I got my brother $40 in COG credit since that is what he wanted. Used it all to buy skins and such. Yeah, we don't earn anything in our games anymore. We just, ask our brother or grandma or whoever to give us $40 for the Fortnite emote. This marker isn't working for some reason. And it's just it's crazy to me. And like if you, at this point, it is widely accepted that microtransactions are going to be in games. I can tell you not to buy it until I'm blue in the face. You're going to buy them anyway. And the crazy thing is, I make those videos and people are like, I bought $20 in skins just to show you. You're owning yourself. Like you're not doing anything to me. You're just, ruining the game industry. And like, look, spend your money how you want. Microtransactions, like, they're just a part of the reality that we're in right now. Would it be better if people didn't do that? Yeah, but we are where we are and people seem complacent with it. So it's not going to go away.
And I reject the shit out of it. Why do you think our game is $10 and it won't have a sequel and it won't have a prequel? And it won't have chapters, and it won't have DLC, and it won't have microtransactions. That's why it's $10, because I hate this business model. I hate it. I think it's shit, and I don't want to perpetuate it, even if it would make me more money. Because
I think it's SHIT, and I don't want to perpetuate it. That's why I don't buy microtransactions in games. Don't buy me a skin. Don't buy me any microtransactions in anything. I won't do it. Philoroni. Well, it's literally me. So like, how people talk like, oh man, I wish I could support the developers. Well, you're supporting me doing these streams when you leave a super chat. You buy a microtransaction in a game, you're supporting an economy system that Microsoft wants to continue because the game they spent $200 million on generates $500 million because they ripped out all the cool skins and sold them to you at $5, $10, $20 a pop, or, the $60 horse in Diablo. So I think it's a little bit different than buying a microtransaction for a Diablo horse versus tipping Destin $2. But I hear you.
It's not good for the industry. So I can't convince people to stop buying games like this.
Yeah.
I can just stop selling games in that way and succeed in spite of that.
See, he's got the right take. That's all you can really do, right? you can only do it the way that you think is best, or show, hey, look, here's a way where you can be successful. And all those people that say you need to have microtransactions in your games, they're wrong. And that's what he does. He leads by example. This is a pirate software video.
So are sequels bad? No, but if you're making episodic content, it's not good for the game a lot of the times. I'll give you an example. Let's say that your base game is $10 and you release a DLC for $5, and then you release a DLC for $5 and you release a DLC for $5. As a player, you bought it for $10 and a new DLC comes out 3 months later. It's only $5, so you buy it, and then another one 3 months later. Well, it's only $5, so you bought it, and then another one 3 months later. It's only $5, so you buy it, right? You just keep doing this. Now, let's say that you tell your friend, hey, man, this game is really good. And your friend's like, oh, how much was it? And you're like, oh, it's $10. And your friend goes to look at it and he goes, that's not $10. Now you get a $25 game. So new players are de-incentivized from jumping in. But old players feel like they got good value and they didn't pay that much, except they're both paying the same amount. It's a marketing strategy that preys on your inability to do math or inability to assign value over time. That's the issue. So, like, not a fan of it. Really.
And you want to know who is a really good example of somebody who also did this, but in the AAA space? Hello Games. How much did their last expansion cost? Can anybody in chat tell me how much the Hello Games expansion costs? The big, huge one where they added all the cool stuff. Did anybody have that price? I can't remember how much it was. Hello Games, $0 is the answer. And they supported that game with these $0 free expansions. Hello Games is like the model on what you do to support a game. Granted, when they launched, it was controversial, and I think they recognized the mistakes that they made, but they're about to come out with another game, and they're going to do the same thing that they did. And I am so happy to have companies like that in this space.
Really not a fan of it. If I'm going to release new content for Heartbound, I'm just going to patch it into the game, like I always have. No reason not to. What are your thoughts on expansions then for games? I only like expansions for live service games a lot of the times. Like, I really only like expansions for live service games. I don't like expansions a lot of the time outside of that. I think they're kind of gross. Like, if you're doing a single player game, the only time I'd say an expansion makes sense is like if you're adding another campaign to it. Live service game does make sense for expansions because that ends up being kind of a good deal. But yeah, it's pretty rare that single player games get expansions that make sense. It's pretty rare.
Yeah, I agree with that. Often they're like offshoots. I think Last of Us did a pretty good job with the expansions that they did, where they told like a whole like one-off story, but more often than not, it's like not great, for lack of a better term. Yeah, so Hello Games does it really, really well. I had a thought here that I was going to share, but I lost my train of thought a little bit. So, oh yeah, so like, how can you support Destin? Well, YouTube's all about just watching the videos. So watch the videos to completion, hit the like button. Those are the basic things you can do. Make sure you're subscribed. So like on YouTube, and this is true for any creator, like the basic thing that you can do, watch their content, watch all of the video, and interact with it in some way. Hit the like, hit subscribe. And I do it as a joke, but like I bring this, I kind of try and make it fun in my videos. So like, watch this far, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button if you're already subscribed. Thanks so much for watching. But that's the equivalent. We're talking about game prices and stuff like that, but that's the equivalent on YouTube. And all of that costs you $0. Like, you don't have to do anything here. And then of course, the membership stuff, like that's like, if you really like a creator, you can become a member and just be like, I like what you're doing here and I want to support you monetarily. And that's sort of like the next step that you can take. Big shout out to my members, by the way, while we're talking about it. But somebody made the correlation. The reason I'm bringing that up is because people were making the correlation in chat. And I do really appreciate people that do watch the videos, even if you're not a member or whatever, because watching, subscribing, or even just hitting like, it helps. I have a CTR of like 12% because my community is awesome. And the live streams, you know why I keep doing them on Sundays? Because 453 people keep showing up every time I do them. I really appreciate the heck out of you guys watching. So like, just to make the parallel to retention metrics, like this has been great. And it is nice to see the community increasing.
Rare. What about the infamous Oblivion Horse Armor DLC? I think it's ass. Like, obviously. Not a fan of that. Risk of Rain? Risk of Rain wasn't an expansion. That was a totally new game. We went Risk of Rain to Risk of Rain 2 as a completely different video game. That's fine. What about Vampire Survivors? I actually don't like Vampire Survivors. I didn't like the fact that they went from a $3 game and then sold millions of copies and then made it $5.
Yeah, that's weird.
Why? Why did they do that? There's no reason for that shit. Makes no sense. Bro gets mad.
I love Vampire Survivors. I don't understand why they increased the price. It has to be part of some sort of marketing deal.
From $2 game to $5 game? Yeah. Do you know why? Because there's no reason for that. If you have a $3 game and it sells millions of copies, and then you change that price to $5, you have a small team that has more money than they'll ever need, and you've changed the price to $5 after it becomes popular. If I took my game that was $10 and I made it $12 after it became popular, would you feel good about that? You'd hate.
How would you feel about that, chat? Like, do you agree with his point? Do you think it's at least strange that Vampire Survivors went from $3 to $5 after they were popular? Like, that team's what, 3 people? It's a very small team. If you've sold 2 million copies at $3 a pop, that's kind of crazy. Why is he writing it like that? Because it's a thought exercise. So he's writing it out live. Granted, it's only $5, but like, why would you increase it? You've already sold 2 million copies. So you've made $6 million. Let's say half of that goes to taxes and fees and whatever else. You still have $3 million. That's $1 million a person on the team. And that's just when, like, how many copies, let's look up how many copies the Vampire Survivors sell. How many copies? 2.5 million copies sold. That was as of April 2022. Wow. So, yeah, that's a lot. Imagine today, like where they're at today. So that's nuts. And that's a small team. Anyway, let's continue on.
Hate it. Just,
well, I'm trying to strengthen his point, and I really like his content, but I think it was unnecessary is the only point he's trying to make. I don't think he's trying to say Vampire Survivors is bad or anything like that. He's like, why did you raise your price? That doesn't make any sense. And it leaves like a negative connotation around the strategy. I don't think he's saying the game is Vampires. Nobody thinks that game's bad. That game's awesome.
Just like I do. It's like, because there's no reason for it.
Yeah.
The only time that we ever have to change prices is when there's dramatic shifts in the valuation of individual currencies. Currency exchange rates is the only time we have to raise prices.
And that's what happened. Honestly, that's what happened with the Xbox. And that's what happened with the PlayStation. Currencies in the UK and Japan plummeted. Like it's like more expensive for them to make things in Japan, and they make less money than they ever did before. So think about that for a second. It costs them more than it has ever cost them to make, say, a console and sell it in Japan or sell it in the UK. And they make less money because the dollar is worth less money. Am I defending the mega corporations for doing all that? No. In my opinion, they should eat the cost, because they marketed it as such. The fact that we live in a world where halfway through your console release cycle, you increase your prices is insane to me. I think they should have just come out with a new console and reduce the internal component price to make it so it was more profitable for them in the territories they're talking about. But that's why it happened. And why things happen and how I feel about it are often two different things. You can rationalize and understand the reason for something and still think it's kind of weird that the consumer ends up footing the bill for something that you weren't prepared for. Anyway.
Because sometimes currency exchange rates go crazy, which is exactly what happened with Argentina, right? Like, that sucks. There's nothing we can do about it at that point. Where like suddenly like a currency just inflates to and is not worth anything anymore. Like,
yeah,
we have to take action. There's nothing we can do about it. That's the only time that I think that's appropriate. That's the only time, and it's a global finance issue. Yeah, global finances go wacky. Bingo. Price your game in line with the gold standard? No, that's not really how that works. The way that you have to price your game, no matter what, man, is based on people's expendable income. You're making an entertainment piece. That's what that is. It's an entertainment piece. People don't need to buy your game. They don't have to. So you have to price it based on people's expendable income inside of that.
He's right. And look what's happened with the movie industry. Like, movie theaters sell the movie ticket, but in order for a movie theater to continue to exist, you got to buy that $75 bucket of popcorn or the collector's edition Dune somewhat sexualized popcorn bucket for I didn't know how else to say it, right? We all saw the Dune popcorn bucket. It was funny. And I love that Deadpool and Wolverine just leaned into it. It was so perfect. Like, they're just very aware of what is happening in the moment. So yeah, movie theaters mark up the price of all of the stuff surrounding it, and they make a little bit off of the ticket sales. So, like, again, another way where you're fleeced. And what's happening to movie theaters? Movie theaters are actually a really good parallel to look at, like, what the game industry is doing right now and what happened with movie theaters. So movie theaters, the ticket price didn't change too much. They tried like subscription stuff and all that wackiness. And then ticket prices didn't really change, but popcorn's like $75. I'm exaggerating, obviously, but yeah. I feel like video games are going through a somewhat similar scenario as what movie theaters went through. If you think about it, I mean, it's a weak comparison, to be honest, but like, their popcorn is the $12 skin that you have to buy, right? They're offsetting their development costs by all that stuff. Corporation all panic after all the bad stuff that happened. They're expecting a new economic apocalypse by hoarding all the money they can. No, like, they already had a ton of money. I don't think it has to do with any of the stuff that happened in September 2008. Like, yeah. I don't think a new apocalypse is coming, but it's certainly not been great.
That area. Disposable income is what you're targeting. What about board member bonuses? Gross. Yeah, it's gross. No, you don't have to buy it. I price ours based on a Big Mac. It's about a Big Mac and a half. Yeah. You want people to buy, what is this? You want people to buy your product? Make it affordable. Bingo. Yes. Make it affordable for each region, too. Always make it affordable for each region. You have to think about what the economics are of each region that you're selling the game in. And you have to think about specifically how much disposable income people in that region have. Yeah, regional pricing. Always regional pricing. Always. And then you price it appropriately based on
obviously.
It's very easy. Just takes a little bit of effort, right? Are you in favor of microtransactions in the game if the game is free? I'm in favor of microtransactions if they are cosmetic in nature and nothing else. There's no reason for it. There's no reason for anything else. Cosmetics only. How do you make the art for your...
I personally... Like, I actually don't like I don't like microtransactions, period. I think they're poison. I think they poison the well of the entire games industry because they sell so well. And anytime you're doing a cosmetic microtransaction, that's something that could have been put in the game in order to incentivize the player to play your game more and earn it, and then have a cool thing to show off to their, like, look, I did the crazy thing in XYZ game. Then yeah. Chris, don't worry about it. Just hit the subscribe button, hit that like button. So yeah, like, no, I'm not a fan of any microtransaction whatsoever. He probably has microtransactions in his game, and he's like, well, that's how we offset it.
Game. Shay makes all the art and animation for Harbin. I do the technical art, which is particle effects, shadows, lighting, stuff like that. Sony priced Helldivers to 0 in some reason? No, they didn't price Helldivers to 0 in some regions. They made it unpurchasable in some regions. Those are two very different things.
Yeah.
No, 0 would be free. Lol, same thing? No, 0 would be free. They turned it... What they did was they took a selling video game and instead applied a 5-finger discount to everybody who wanted to go the extra mile. It's probably the greatest advertisement to piracy I've ever seen in my life. Insane to watch.
Yeah, I mean, well, God, I don't know what just happened. Yeah, it went not great. So yeah, a lot of Dr. Disrespect come up in my mentions. Obviously, I covered that earlier in the week. We're all good on the Dr. Disrespect stuff, right? Y'all know the story. Do we really need to revisit all the drama that's happened since? or do you want me to cover off on it quick? I'll leave it up to chat. Do you want a recap? I'll give you the TLDR recap. Okay, so a lot of people were saying Dr. Disrespect inappropriately messaged the minor, and that's why he was banned from Twitch in 2020. Dr. Disrespect was like, that was a big story. We settled it and everything like that. And then he came out and he admitted that he inappropriately messaged the minor in 2020, confirming exactly what the people said. And that is the story. That's the whole story. I'll say it. I watched Dr. Disrespect. I thought some of the stuff that he did was funny. I will never watch him again. Man, you should never say never. It's disgusting. Don't message minors. Like, I don't know what else to say about it. It's just it's one of those stories. What do you want me to say about, like, stay weird and keep gaming? When are you going to get off the you didn't talk about Sweet Baby thing? Get over it, my dude. Anyway, it happened in 2017. There's a whole bunch of conversation about Dr. Disrespect stuff. It's very controversial, and it deals with very sensitive subject matter. So, yeah. Oof. Continuing on into some more exciting stuff. PlayStation is working on PS3 emulation for PlayStation 5, it's claimed. I would love to see that happen personally. Nick Baker claimed Sony is working on select PlayStation 3 backwards compatibility, basically repeating the headline. Carolina Gamer said, did he know? I feel like in his statement, he would have said, I did not know. The fact that he didn't and didn't address that at any point, I think tells us all we need to know. And it doesn't change the fact that that's what happened. So, yeah. Anyway, Jeff Grubb said, it's something I've heard about being in the works for some time. I thought it would be out by now. I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically what he said. Yeah. Yeah, he kind of said he knew in his statement also, Big Mad Mo. You're not wrong. So, yeah, apparently Chad does want to talk about the Dr. Disrespect stuff. All right. So there was this rumor on Nextdoor where somebody said something happened at his house. We don't know if it was a raid or if somebody got arrested. Slasher apparently said it's bogus. I mean, I can go to the Nextdoor post and read it. I messaged the person who posted it, who said they drove by and saw a bunch of police activity there. The person who posted it, who has a bunch of other they're clearly like moms and dad or moms who are talking on Nextdoor about some weird thing. Then, yeah. Pet peeve, why do headlines put it's claimed? Because it's hearsay. It's like complete rumor and conjecture. That's why they put it on there. So, yeah. Some people are hypothesizing he won't be on YouTube. YouTube, I didn't do a story about this. They demonetized his channel and they took away the ability to become a member. So that was an update there. There's a crazy theory going around today that I'm not going to give any attention because I also think it's bogus. They're saying it was like a trap set up for him. I don't know about any of that. But yeah, that's the latest with the stuff, and he's just gone. He's done. So yeah. But it keeps popping up on my stories from you and trending. So yeah, everybody dropped him. Turtle Beach dropped him. Mad Cats dropped him. YouTube dropped him. The 49ers said they won't work with him anymore. They haven't worked with him anymore. Mountain Dew dropped him. Like, yeah, it's done. Twitch, what had reported it to the NCMEC the day the ban happened. So yeah. And then Legal Mindset has a theory out there that there was some liability on Twitch's part because they were reading his messages, and there's some very specific legal standards about that. So yeah, Kick has even alluded to the fact that they're like, yeah, we're not like chomping at the bit for anything. So yeah, there was an interview Oh, so we did the backwards compatibility stuff. Would you like PlayStation 3 backwards compatibility? I think it would be great. Specifically, I can take my headset off now. Specifically, I would like PlayStation 3 backwards compatibility if it included the option for Metal Gear Solid. What is it? Metal Gear Solid 4 still doesn't have the ability to work on, even the emulated versions of that game, like, don't quite work quite right. But yeah. Metal Gear Solid 4 on PlayStation 5 would be huge. Did I ever play Folklore? No, I did not. I don't think so anyway. But yeah, I think Metal Gear Solid 4 being part of the Metal Gear Solid collection might be something that's being worked out right now. So I wonder if that's being developed so that that game can work and a few other select like classic or best in class games can also be backwards compatible. Moving on though, I mean, that's one of those stories where, thank you so much for the kind words. Love the channel. Keep it up. You got it. There was also this big interview with Guillermo over at Ubisoft, who answered a few interesting questions. Oh, I keep bringing up the wrong one. We're going to have Toxine here. What video game genres is Ubisoft focusing on currently? We see Star Wars, Assassin's Creed. They're talking about the Snowdrop and Anvil engines, Rainbow Six Siege. No mention of Splinter Cell, unfortunately. Talking about open world. But the big one that everybody sort of latched onto was the comments about, wait, where'd it go? Assassin's Creed. And there was on the Assassin's Creed, this is the big one. On the Assassin's Creed front, we've had Mirage, which was a leaner homage to the series roots, and now Shadows, which is much larger in scope and more in the vein of Odyssey/Valhalla. Looking at the future, can we expect this continued variety? Smaller games alongside bigger ones. Aries, thank you for the 10 gifted memberships. I appreciate that very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Firstly, players can be excited about some remakes, which will allow us to revisit some of the games we've created in the past and modernize them. Aries, I'm just going to put your name down again. Thank you. I appreciate you very much. Firstly, players can be excited about some remakes, which will allow us to revisit some of the games we've created in the past and modernize them. There are worlds in some of our older Assassin's Creed games that are still extremely rich. Secondly, to answer your question, there will be plenty of experience variety. The goal is to have Assassin's Creed games come out more regularly, but not for it to be the same experience every year. There are a lot of good things to come, including Assassin's Creed Hex, which we've announced, which is going to be a very different game from Assassin's Creed Shadows. We're going to surprise people, I think. That's hype for me. Everybody loves Ezio Auditore de Firenze. You know who I like? Altair. He's my favorite protagonist. And I want to know more about that character. I know by Revelations we got like some backstory about Altair and they've sort of revisited him, but like his journey as a character in the first game, I really like it. I went back and played one. I think I did the full montage on this channel by playing the original on the Xbox Series X or Xbox One X. And man, they updated it with like, it's basically like the best version of the PC game running on console still. It's awesome. And then I think they did the same with 2. So the trilogy from 2. I have to take a shot for every new member. I don't really drink anymore. So yeah, everybody was an Ezio guy. I liked the look of Altair. Ezio, they added a lot of ornamentation and everything on his armor set, and like you customize a little bit. It was just really pure, the original. There's a little bit of jank, like nobody liked collecting the flags. You had to kill these Templar guys, but I liked it. I don't know. It was just a great loop. Yeah, Ezio had personality, but like he's like a cocky rich kid. Oh, he's like sort of like Batman. But like before he was Batman, he like wasn't super likable. Batman was a kid when his parents died. Ezio was a spoiled rich brat who was like playing all the ladies, right? So, and then his parents get murdered. Turns out his parents were assassins. And like, so like, it's harder for me to like Ezio. Like I like the original 4 Assassin's Creed games, and I was sort of indifferent on Black Flag. But I think what they're talking about, I think they're talking about Assassin's Creed 1, and they're definitely talking about Black Flag. After the disaster that was Assassin's Creed or Skull and Bones, which should have just been a Black Flag remake or another Black Flag entry, then yeah. Oh, and then talking about consoles and such, Matt Piscatella said, folks should probably just get used to this. No physical Xbox versions across the market sooner rather than later. It's already happened in other markets. No retail copies of Xbox games here in Brazil. Nintendo and PlayStation still sell them, though. Yep, give PlayStation another gen, Nintendo another 2. And then we had that Noble story where Sony Group to cut 250 jobs from recordable media business, KeyHub. And that was from Kyoto. Sony Group will cut 250 jobs from those areas. Why? Because 90% of games are sold digitally. It's like we can talk until we're blue in the face about game preservation and how important it is and why I would prefer to have a physical version of the games that I absolutely adore so that I have that safe, warm, fuzzy feeling knowing that I can always pop that disc into my console. But in reality, I've had Steam for a long time and it works pretty good. When did Steam launch? It launched in 2003. I wonder if my copy of Half-Life still works. Does Half-Life still work? Let's see if I can still install it. Oh, all the Half-Lives are still there. Huh. Any game I've purchased on Steam, nothing's been like removed to the point that I can't ever get it again if I purchased it, right? So I think Steam is a good example of what we can look at and say, what's the future of digital media distribution? Like, when was Microsoft founded? You think Microsoft's just going to close up shop tomorrow? I think Microsoft's going to be fine. 1975? Yeah, so Microsoft started in 1975. So I think we're going to be, I think that my Steam library will be intact as long as I'm on planet Earth, right? And then I can, give it to my children. I can be like, here's my Steam password. That'll be my last words will be like my Steam password to my kids. Daniel, I got something important to tell you. My Steam password is the Reapers were right. No, I that's not my Steam password, but yeah, I'm a big Mass Effect fan. Yeah, but like, I don't know. I think just technology is advanced very quickly and it's uncomfortable for a lot of people. But somebody brought up a good point the other day I saw online. The question was, name something else that still uses a CD or has a CD drive in it. Like, there's enthusiasts for Blu-rays, but I think most people just use streaming. BT Double said, did you hear Microsoft was reviewing Forza Horizon 4? Yeah, I covered that off at the beginning of the stream. Thank you for the tip, though. Mass Effect is the GOAT. BT. Thank you, BT. Parallax, you're up top. You're right there because you kept donating throughout the stream. Thank you so much. I do still work at IGN Prop Watch. And yeah, so Matt Piscadell is basically like, look, I prefer 4K Blu-ray, Hargeet says. Hargeet, people like us, we are in the super minority, my man. And I'm sure there's going to be some like very fancy Blu-ray player you're able to purchase so that you can still play those Blu-rays. But the long and the short of it is most people just they don't like things. They don't like having like a shelf full of DVDs. They just want convenience and less clutter, right? So most people don't like that anymore. They want convenience of access. And you know what's super convenient? Turning on your TV. And that's why Microsoft is partnering with Amazon. That's why they're partnering with Samsung, because they see that we're at the infancy of where things are going. And I'm 42 years old. And even a few years ago, I'm like, yeah, you know what? I kind of just want to buy everything digital. Maybe that's a mistake. Maybe in like 20 years, that'll be a mistake. But yeah, minimalist lifestyle. Yeah, I don't like having a lot of things. I already have too many things. Like, I still have a printer, and having to own a printer is super annoying. But like, I needed it when we did the business. So yeah. What else do we got going on here? Ooh. Got to put the headphones on for this one. I'm just going to play the audio. Let me know. First person to get in chat, I'm going to give you a virtual high five. Boom. Who knows it? What game is it? It's an Xbox channel, right? Come on.
Say, buddy.
No. Metal Gear?
About research for a story. Frank West.
Come on.
Remember that?
There we go. Gaming Nating got it. Yeah, Capcom announced they're redoing Dead Rising. In 2016, the HD remaster released on modern platforms. Yeah. I played the heck out of this game. And I really, really liked it. I think I beat it.
Say, buddy.
Yeah, I think I got all the way to the end.
Something about research for a story.
I'm excited to go
Frank
back,
West.
honestly. It's like the perfect timing.
Remember that name, because the whole world's going to know it in 3 days.
They made him like an old dude. I don't know if I like the design. Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster. Did I just get demonetized because I played their weird jazz song? I certainly hope not. That's so annoying. You know, my stream last week got demonetized because that dude had like song in his video that I was reacting to. I'm hyped for the Dead Rising remake. Dead serious. And then the last one I had for today was, I was going to do a react. Yeah. So the last one I had for today was all about Metal Gear Solid. I do not still have the Dead Space costume. Metal Gear Solid producer Noriaki Okamura says it would be a dream if they could work with Hideo Kojima again. And they have this whole thing about the new Metal Gear where they did like a round table just talking about the game. And if you are a Metal Gear Solid fan, how are you feeling about Metal Gear Solid Delta? Because I am super hyped for this. I think it's going to be awesome. I think it's going to be really, really fun. Afro SRB. What's episode 96? Oh, the Xbox One special? I've never played a Metal Gear Solid game. I was tempted to do a Let's Play of Metal Gear Solid 3, but I think I'm going to run out of time. I'm going for an hour and a half. Metal Gear Solid 3 Remake is my most anticipated game of all time. I bought the collector's edition, or bought the collection volume 1 and played 3 back-to-back 3 times. It's so good, right, gaming? I'm really excited about the... I didn't know you could do this, by the way. I said in a video that you couldn't, and apparently that's always been in the game. So yeah, this remake is looking great. They're using Unreal Engine 5, but they've faithfully recreated like right next, like pixel for pixel recreation of the original. I am very, very hyped for the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake. And it's just cool to see that the devs are showing a lot of respect to Kojima. There were a few other quotes. This is from BG247. But just speaking for myself personally, I keep going to the picture, other one. I'd like nothing better than to work with Mr. Kojima and the rest of the team again. If that could happen, it would be the dream. But people have moved on to new things and new commitments, so that's just our current reality. We can't just take for granted that everyone would work with us again or let ourselves be completely dependent on them. He added, I just don't think it's right for us to be the ones to make that kind of demand of anyone. So we're working with the expectation that whatever we make is up to us. It's on our shoulders to do a good job. According to Okamura, many staff from the original Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater development team are already working on the upcoming remake. So that's good to hear. And they're going to be credited. And I do really appreciate just the level of respect that is shown to Kojima with this particular collection. Anything I missed from the last week? I think that's kind of everything, right? I think it's going to be scene for scene remake, but really, really pretty. Just hope it doesn't run poorly, I will say. I have it open here. I don't know. This might break my game, my stream when I launch it, but this is the original Metal Gear Solid 3. It's from the collection. And I haven't played a ton of it. I just unlocked a few of the achievements. Like I've beaten the game before. So for me, I got to turn this down a little bit. This is a PC game and you kind of have to play it with controller. Like you can't. Let's see here. Game selection, North America, English, start game. They have like all the versions of the game also. Chat really wants me to play it, huh? Who here doesn't know what Metal Gear is? I'm just going to play it a little bit. I just want to show you like the intro. So we just watched the intro trailer. Here we go. We just watched the intro trailer of like what this game is supposed to look like. And I don't think there's audio yet, or I did something wrong. There we go. How's the audio bounce? The audio looks a little bit hot from the game, so just let me know if it's out of whack. You can like speed up the animations or slow them down. You can do zoom in, stuff like that. And I have it on fast mode. Like they have all the little touches. And I think I have mods installed for 3 right now on my computer, so it might look a little bit different than what you have. Do I have any game saves? Nah, I didn't save anything. If there was one where I started the game, but I started as Raiden, and I want to start as Snake, so yeah.
After the end of World War
At
II,
the end of World War
the
II.
world was
I don't even have my
split into
headphones on. I know what he says.
East and West. This marked the beginning of the era called the Cold War.
So here's the problem. I can't really skip this intro, and it's like an hour. So remember how I said it's basically a 1-to-1. We watched the remake trailer, and this is what it looked like. It holds up exceptionally well. Thanks, Crazy. I appreciate it. Can I skip it?
Jack, I've got some important.
Oh, I
news.
can. I couldn't skip it the other day. Maybe I can. So here's a little bit of gameplay. I'll show you the 10 seconds of gameplay. And this is one of the shots that they use in the trailer. They use like this whole intro sequence, but I'll let this play out because it's like he lands. Ooh, who is it? Could be anybody. Does a big dramatic mass takeoff. Unfortunately, there's a lot of visual elements of this one that Konami just didn't do a good job with it. Like they didn't do it in 4K. It's basically the PS3 version of the game, but I think I installed mods on this particular build, so I do think this is the modded version with 4K textures and such. More people here are hyped for Flintlock Siege of Dawn, 18th July. I think Flintlock looks fine. I'd have to check it out, Afro. Yeah, all this, him taking off the mask and everything, this game's really great. And like a lot of the mechanics that they utilized were like really neat. You had to like eat to survive and everything. We're going to skip and I'll just show you the gameplay sections if I can remember how to do anything. That's punch. That's roll. Okay. Yeah, you can't crouch walk. So that's one thing that they keep showing in the new trailer. They're like, oh, look, you can crouch walk. I'm going to get this, then it triggers a cutscene. Gameplay. And that's the game, everybody. I beat the game.
I see you've...
They're teaching me how to play the game. The first time I played through this, I listened to all this. But like now, people are going to like destroy this game.
Try to remember some of the basics of CQC.
This shot's great. They put crouch walking in the 3DS version. Is that true? Do you know if they've modded the crouch walking into Metal Gear Solid 3? I actually don't know.
Virtuous mission now.
Do I need to move my camera a little bit? All right, one sec. I'm just going to move my camera up a little bit because I'm blocking some of the things. Yeah, so like it had this camo system where you could put different... Like this gives me +5 camo. All this is -5. The uniform, like Tiger Stripe, gives me +20. It's like now I'm more camoed up. This one gives me +5 more. All right, so that's what we're gonna go with. So we have the best camo on now. Got to do the bull. And there's that. I have a Discord. I don't have it. Like I don't do anything with it. See, I'm bad at being an online personality because I play games, like I play Destiny a ton, and I don't do a lot of the stuff that you're supposed to as an online personality. I just kind of, yeah. I'm interested in Flintlock. I think the last demo was a lot better than the one before that. I actually don't remember how to how do I aim? How do I... Alright. It's LB to aim. Oh! Alligator part. Ah! I always miss that one. He's like super camo in there. Yeah, and look, the mud like goes on you. Nice. I think there's something over here I want to get to. If I just like stood in the mud, it's like quicksand, I would die. Alright, I think I got all the super secret stuff that I needed. So we're just going to go to the next section. We're going to go, and I think I can get all the way to the red building. I always mess up at the red building. Every single time. Get that gator. Do you get something for killing the alligator? I don't remember. Yeah, this collection has a lot of issues. I mean, if you were to buy the games, I would get one on Xbox, like Metal Gear 1, because that's the only place you can get it. And then I would buy the 360 disc version and pop that in your Xbox Series X. That's the best way to do it.
Snake, you're...
So they're like, go get the thing. So here, should I... Bug juice full. So I like to hide in the... This game looks good. Yeah, it looks good. It's just... I'm pretty sure I'm playing a modded version. I'm excited for people to play it for the first time, though. Stupid question. How do I shoot the gun? Is it trigger or... Is it... Let's find out. Is it X? Oh, boy. All right. Yeah, it's X. And what's interesting in Metal Gear Solid 2, basically if you trank the dude, how do you pick him up? It's not Y. That's X. If you trank the dude, he would just stay asleep. But on this version, I just want to get his loot. They'll wake up because the drugs that they utilized at the time were not as good. So like there's all these cool little details that they utilize for this one. Should I go for it? Think I can hit it? Good night. Oh, his buddy's going to notice. Ooh, dark side. Thank you for the 20 gifted. So basically all I got to do is get by that guy and then I'm good to go. Thank you for the gifts. That's not the dark side Phil, is it? Yeah, I don't want to deal with this. I'm going to put this guy to sleep. Oh, that's bad. Hey, can you go to sleep, please? Okay, I got lucky. I thought I was in trouble. Yeah, they do need to remake Metal Gear Solid 1, in my opinion. I agree. All right, how much more do you want me to play? Do you want me to get the Shagohod cutscene? Oh, this part. I love watching people mess this part up because nobody shoots the beehive. Yeah, like they show you shoot the beehive, right? Let's see. I'm just going to hit it now. Watch this. Yeah, go see it. Ah, the bees! You better run! Whoa! That's bad! The bridge is also really slippery. What do you get for shooting the mushrooms? Oh, food. And I think there's a gun down here, but I'm just going to keep going. Because these guys, the scary bees, they'll come back. JT, thank you for all the membership gifts, everybody. I appreciate it. So usually here, this is where I mess up. I'm going to get spotted. And every time, I don't think I've ever been able to clear this like clean.
Major, I've reached the abandoned factory where Sokolov is supposedly being held. This place is a dump.
I just want to get you the row cutscene.
Can't see Sokolov from here. The security is pretty tight.
I'll probably... Y'all convinced me to play this game, by the way.
I wonder how many are inside.
I wasn't going to, but yeah. Yeah, so they're going to remake this. And it's like good. There's going to be so much dialogue. Alright, so what's my camo rating in this section, though? 90%? I mean, that's pretty good. Here's the only way I've ever been able to... So I will crawl behind this guy. It's not going to work, right? Like, I really want to do a clean gameplay playthrough, but I'm telling you, every time I get spotted by somebody. Every freaking time. And the problem is, once you go in there, it's bad times for everybody. There's like 3 guards in there, and I always get spotted by them. Does anybody know the trick? Is there like a better way to go? See, there's that guy back there. Nobody. Nothing. Get out of here. Ah! There's a snake. The snakes will like bite you too. Yeah, he's gonna bite me, isn't he? Alright. I'm gonna stand up, see what happens. No, I want to go. Nobody. There's nobody. I'm screwing this up, aren't I? Another snake? No, I want to kill the snake because he will bite me. And there's also this like food thing where you gotta like eat the food. I'll eat this.
Disgusting.
But I got my health back. You can trank them all from the... Oh. You know what? I didn't even think of doing that before. Can I just go up right here? Because, I mean, that would be great. You can trank them all from outer perimeter. See, I didn't know that. I always just get spotted here, so I just run to the door. Can you walk on top of the thing? Apparently you can. How do I jump them all? Oh my god, did I do it? I've never been able to do that without getting spotted. Alright, so then we go rescue the scientists. And then I think we get the round cutscene coming up here. And then we're going to stop there. Yeah, here we go. So this is the first appearance of Revolver Ocelot, and I'm going to stop there. I think I can save right after. I think the new Superman looks good, personally. Yeah, I'm looking forward to Delta also. Chat saw I had this on my recently played list, so they're like, play it, play it. I was like, okay. And then I got to get out of here. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you watched this far, if you're still watching me play games too, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. Of course, hit that like button. And we're going to watch Snake show everybody what's up. I don't like that faux motion blur they have on this stuff, but on the PS2 era, it was fine. Yeah, this is one of those games where, like, I just played it, and then I would go to work, and then I played it and finished it probably in 2-3 days.
Legendary boss, huh?
There he is.
Huh? We meet at last.
Have you played Dante's Inferno? I have. I finished that one too way back in the
You're
day.
from the Ocelot unit of Spetsnaz. Huh. What's a GRU soldier doing here?
Soldier?
He's the Ocelot commander.
That's Major Ocelot to you.
Here it is.
Don't you forget it.
Oh no, it's you guys gotta wait for the part. It's coming.
Sokolov is ours. Now get out of here.
And Ocelot never lets his prey escape.
So wait,
What?
they don't want Snake, they just wanted Ocelot? Ooh, so good. Wait for it. Watch this shot. I know it's a video game, but they do a good job of setting up Ocelot as like the villain, right? Should they remake Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake? That would be cool. All right,
Can't say it feels
so that's
good to
Revolver
kill a
Ocelot.
comrade, even if it is for the GRU.
Sokolov, take cover.
Here it comes. I just want to hear the meow. Do the meow.
You're not the boss, are you?
I think the end of Metal Gear Solid 4 is him and Liquid, right? Or is it Ocelot? I honestly can't remember. There it is. The dumbest. That's the silliest thing ever.
GRU operatives?
So campy.
What is that stance?
I hope so. BROS. I saw the
That
website
gun.
leak. Liquid Ocelot, that's what it was.
If you're not the boss, then die.
Uh-oh.
Major!
Yeah, at this point, you're either in or you're out. The round is just like, I'm out. Oh yeah, he just has the trank gun. Campy music. I wonder if I would have had the shotgun equipped. No, it doesn't change anything. I always use the trank. Yeah, the delayed reaction in the Metal Gear Solid 3 trank gun is also an interesting touch because at the time, like, just the stuff they made wasn't as potent. I like all those little additions. All right, we're gonna stop there, everybody.
Major, do you read me?
I read Major. Thanks for watching, everybody. I do appreciate it. I'm gonna get out of here though. It's a wonderful day. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you to all the members. I'm gonna have to update this list. We got a massive new list of members today. Thank you for the gifted members. I'm going to head out, though. Thank you for watching, everyone. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell. I do appreciate it. I do stream every Sunday, but be subscribed because who knows what's going to happen with the kids in the fam during the morning. And I'll get live as soon as I can be. Thank you so much, everybody. And I will, Phil. And I'll see you for the next one. Bye for now, everybody.